So Chris, I think that a lot of us sort of end up on planet Earth and we become very reactionary to what's around us. And I was no different. I was just a normal, as we call in Australia, knockabout bloke, going about my business, doing my thing called life. My sort of wake-up call came when I was in my early 30s after this life of never being sick, never really going to the doctor except for, normal checkups. Maybe when you got the flu, take a pill, have a headache, take a pill, can't sleep, take a pill. That's kind of that sort of world that I was exposed to. And I got sick and so, what do? You take a pill. And I took a pill. But the doctor said, hey, Joe, you're going to take this pill for the rest of your life. And I went, didn't see that one coming, Chris. But because I was so busy with work and, being an entrepreneur and building my company and companies at the time when I was in my early 30s, I kind of just brushed aside this idea of why am I taking this pill? And I just took the pill, Chris.
And what was the diagnosis?
Diagnosis was chronic urticaria angioedema, which essentially is a disease of the body attacking itself and creating the histamine to be released and dilated through the blood vessels, which gives welts and swelling. And when that histamine is released, it goes into the joints, which makes the joints incredibly painful. So your wrist can't turn, your fingers can't close, your arm. It's just it's like having serious arthritis, and it comes and goes. And for me, what was the trigger was physical pressure. So a seatbelt, holding a baby, carrying luggage, lying down on the ground, just anything that involved physical touch triggered this problem, this attack from within. And so my system was all messed up, and it didn't know what was a mosquito bite and what was a physical touch point. So then on the back of that and taking those pills, I was kind of just in that autopilot, Chris, of every morning, every night. This is what Joe does. Takes 5 milligrams of prednisone and then takes another 5 milligrams of prednisone and then takes another 5. So I'm at 15. Sometimes I'm at 25. Sometimes I go up to 40 milligrams a day. And then it gets, over time, it gets worse. And the number of milligrams from the first couple of years starts to go up, and I'm at 50 and 60. And as anyone would know who's got any kind of insight into the medical world, that kind of dosage of a steroid really has incredible negative side effects: moon face, hunchback, osteoporosis, weight gain. There's an enormous amount of problems associated with that drug. It's like a carpet bomb. It wasn't a drug that was addressing the problem. It was just carpet bombing my whole system. So when I got to 40, I went, hold on, 8 years just gone by with me being this robot with the pills. Surely there's got to be a better way, Chris. Surely maybe I'm responsible. Maybe I need to step up to the mark here and take some accountability for how Joe got to where Joe was. And that really is the beginning of my turnaround. And I decided that I needed to really stop consuming white, black, brown, and gray foods and eat foods that had color. And we're not talking about artificial, we're talking about natural color. And that was the shift. And the idea of juicing was a big part of that, to supercharge my micronutrient intake. And I did that for 60 days, as you know. And a couple of mates said, hey, Joe, you're a crazy loud Australian. Why don't you put this, camera on yourself, because you're the least likely person to do this. You come from the world of a suit and tie. You're not like a hippie, long hair, standing on your head all day on top of a hill, So it was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that for fun. Maybe that'll help other people in my position, and maybe, just maybe, it might help me continue and complete my journey. So that's basically as abridged as I can get, Chris, where that was the beginning of Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. And I can do the spoiler alert now that I'm no longer on medication. And it was basically 5 months. It was 60 days of juice, and it was 3 months of just eating a completely strict plant-based diet.
And were you all raw for 6 months, or just
No, I wasn't raw. I was steamed and raw, but the rules for engagement were fire and water, and that was it. There was no deep frying or there was no oil involved. It was fire and water. So if you could steam it, that was fine. If you could put it on a pan under fire and just grill it, that was fine. But that's basically what the rules of engagement were for those 3 months. And look, it took that much time to come down from the 60 milligrams of prednisone to zero, because it's not a drug you just drop overnight, because you've got to train your body to produce that cortisone. And so it's not a drug you drop off quickly. So I may have been able to get off it sooner, but I took it medical advice and I slowly decreased it. And I got down to 2.5 milligrams pretty easily, Chris, from the juicing. And then it took another 3 months just to get that last bit out of the system. And to be honest, I have not had a single reaction. I haven't had a single episode. And I started the journey in October of 2007. It was March 2008 by the time I threw away the pills. And I'll be very honest, I didn't throw the pills away because I was worried that it might come back. And it was like a full year of security of having these pills before I finally traveled without them, Chris, and actually broke the umbilical cord. It was just like a psychological thing that maybe I'll relapse. This is going great, but maybe there's something that I'm not aware of here. So that was 2008. And what are we now? 2022. So
14 years.
14 years. And it was March. So we're April. So yeah, it's 14 years of no medication. And I don't take any pills. I'm not saying that people on medication should stop doing that. I appreciate that some people require that. But for me, I go to the doctor. I go and check my bloods twice a year, and I don't need any medication. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm not perfect, as Chris knows. We've talked offline and stuff. I'm not perfect. I have my addictions and my demons with sugar that I battle with, and that causes me fluctuations in weight. But what it hasn't done, and I haven't allowed it to do yet, is to attack me on my health side from my old urticaria or high blood pressure or high cholesterol or high blood sugar. I'm still going great in all of those numbers. So that's something that I'm very proud of. But every day's a battle for me, Chris. Every day's a battle, mate.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, why not subscribe? Here's a link to do that. And if you'd like to watch the full interview, you can find it at chrisbeatcancer.com. There's a link to it in the description right below this video.